Okay, no training video today because I already did that and I didn't record. But it is a weapon thing, and before I start this shit, I literally just saw that Chuck Norris died. That's fucking bullshit. Chuck Norris didn't die. Michael just needed him to fight Satan in the final battle. Rest in peace. Okay. Coldsteel poleaxe. It's not a poleaxe, it's a fucking halberd. It's so long, it's a halberd. But yeah, I bought this and it arrived. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what the hell they're doing with this haft. To me, I think it's a spear haft. But what I did, because when you see people, they have it at the end here. And maybe they shave this part off and wedge it. I didn't do that. I just screwed it in. And by screwed it, I mean I fucking hammered that shit in there. I left it this way because I'm probably going to get a spearhead and put it on top and literally just turn this into a halberd. And then I'll get one at the back end, a butt spike, as it's called. And it's going to be even longer and more halberdian. Yeah, it's kind of monstrous. You got a lot of leverage on there. It's an ash haft, so it can absorb the impact pretty well. I haven't taken it outside yet. I have not taken it outside. I said tooken. I haven't taken it outside yet because, well, I live in an apartment complex and the crazy bitch neighbors are, I don't know, up my ass because I reported them for incredibly loud, obnoxious party music and screaming, and I don't know, the police have been at this building apparently 5 times because of these bitches. So until they're evicted, I'm not taking this outside. But yeah, anyway, it's got a hammer on the back end, which is bigger and thicker than the Warhammer. And it's got an axe blade on the front, which is surprisingly sharp out of the box. Like, it's not going to cut you, but I wouldn't rub my finger on there with a lot of pressure. But it is sharper than both the Coldsteel Great Axe and the Coldsteel Viking Axe, the Viking Battle Axe, and then the Viking Hand Axe. It's sharper than those. So that's pretty neat. Like I said, it's not a poleaxe. Poleaxe is roughly about, see my fingers here? About this tall. And I know this because I've been at Buhurt leagues, and that's the size of the poleaxes in Buhurt. It's about this tall, and that's with the blade. That's where it ends, okay? This is more like a halberd. The issue with it being more like a halberd is that the axe head is kind of compact like a poleaxe, and there's no spike. But I put it on this way specifically so I had room to put a spearhead on, because that's more than likely what I'm going to do. I will probably end up using the Coldsteel boar spear just for shits and giggles. Slap that fucker on there. That's about an extra foot. That weapon's going to be about this long at that point. Okay, then you put a butt spike on there. I'm going to probably add another foot to it. So it is firmly a halberd. It is not a poleaxe. If I wanted to make it a poleaxe, I would add a spike to the top, as is proper, and then probably chop off this bottom foot. Okay? And then it's a poleaxe. But I mean, like, you know, it's cool having a very large weapon. This is about 6'2", I would say. Something like that. I don't know how tall I am, honestly. I don't know. But it's probably about 6'2". You know, it hits hard. I think it says it was advertised at 73 inches, so that would make it 6'3". But yeah. So you see the kind of leverage on there. You can just pivot. And then, oh, that's like 5 pounds at the end there without a top spike. Whatever you're hitting is very inconvenienced, if not just dead. Either end, it doesn't matter. You can use the hammerhead, you can use the axe blade, doesn't matter. It's a lot of leverage. And then you just go, oh, and it's dead. But yeah, then you would have if it was properly, you would have a spearhead at the end. So then you would fight with it kind of like this, and then jam it at people if you need to. and this is in a one-on-one scenario. Halberds were formation weapons, so you know, in a duel, you probably just want to keep them at point and then jockey to get in to bash them or something. I don't fucking know. I don't fight with them. Axes that it's a totally different technique to fight with something like this versus like one of my axes. It's totally different combat. So it'll be fun to figure it out. But I just wanted to do a bit of a quick review on it. The head did not at all fit on the pole. It was very loose. Like I would put it on and it slid right down with zero resistance. I was expecting it to be sort of a friction fit that you would also pin. And that's not what it was. I had to put the screws in straight away. The screws that it came with were dog shit. Luckily I have screws. So yeah, I just kind of drilled them, and then I like to hammer them in because it feels old-timey. You know, when they pinned it, they didn't have drills back then. So I like to just kind of start them with a hammer. I don't actually use a screwdriver. Then I just bash it in to the wood. It's probably not the best way to do it, but it's the way that I do it. And yes, it is historically accurate to pin axe blades to wood. The rivets and all that, that is a historical thing. Yes, they did still wedge it, but that was extra reinforcement for the heavy ones, the really heavy ones. So yeah, that is a historically accurate way to hang an axe. But yeah, this is cool. I want to put the spearhead on there, like I said, and make it even more badass looking. Because I really like the look. I like the halberd look. And that is why when I got it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave this top portion and I'm going to put a spearhead on here. So that's the next project, I believe. Unless I sell it to my brother, he might want one of these. And the reason I would do that is because I don't entirely care for it as much as I thought I would. So if I could make most of my money back, I would not sell it to him for retail. I would knock 25 bucks off. I bought it for 175. If he would buy it, I would give it to him for 150. And then he can do whatever he wants with it. And then what I will do is get the Markland Merchants great axe, which is, I was torn between that one and this. And I was like, well, I kind of like hammers too. And I could probably put a spearhead on it and it would look really cool. So I went with this. But let's just say if I knew how it was going to arrive, I wouldn't have bought it. And I guess that's the thing with Coldsteel. Everybody says, like, yes, the actual steel part is great. It's super tanky. It's very durable. Some would say overbuilt, but I would call them pussies. I like overbuilt, you know? Like, you could shoot this. In fact, there is a dude. I can't remember. Joe X, I believe. Yeah. From, Austria. Has literally shot some of these weapons. And it's taken a rifle to actually, get through them. So yeah, the Viking axe and this is basically small arms fireproof. Okay? At least for the ones that he's got. So yeah, they make a very good steel product. The problem is everything else. Everything else is kind of shit. Or it can be kind of shit. The hafts can be really shitty. If it's a sword, the fit and finish is really shitty sometimes. And sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's really shitty. So if you buy a Coldsteel product, you're gonna have to probably, you should expect it to be like a fixer-upper type of thing. Like it's a project. It's gonna be a project. Like if I keep this, what I'm gonna do, like I said, is get a spearhead. I'm probably gonna get I was thinking get the Coldsteel one, but I'm not gonna do that because I'd have to buy the whole thing. But I'll get a spearhead, probably from Topeka, because it's a spearhead. You can't really fuck that up like Topeka's usually does. So I'll probably get one of their spearheads and put it on there. And then a butt spike as well from them. And I'll have to stain the haft too. That's another thing. This haft was like look at this. This is ugly. It's not even finished. So I would have to do that to make it look nice. I'm not putting the langets on because I think it looks stupid. And I'm not fighting anybody with a sword who's going to try to hack into the damn thing. So why would I do that? It makes sense if you're going to fight with it in combat, but this isn't. This would not be allowed in Buhurt because it's sharp. And I think it might be a little too heavy. Although it's not as heavy as advertised. They say it's like 7 pounds. This axe head, this whole head, believe it or not, is maybe 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds at most. It's actually not very heavy at all. And it's pretty light. It's pretty easy to maneuver compared to what you might think upon looking at it. My axe head for the Hanway Dane axe that I bought a couple years ago is actually heavier than this whole head, this whole implement. It's probably a little bit heavier than this. So yeah, like I said, when it comes to the steel quality and everything, Coldsteel does great. Their stuff is awesome. Whoever makes it, I think it's windless. It's very good quality steel. Holds an edge really well. My Viking hand axe, that blade is great. I love that little axe. And I say little, but it's almost, this is almost twice the size of my axe that I showed off of, I don't know, in the last weapon video. So, yeah, this would be, if you buy this, it's a DIY project because you can do a lot with it. You can turn it into a proper poleaxe, which would be about this tall. Yeah, probably about this tall, where my fingers are at. So you would shave off about, I don't know, 16 inches or so. So you could make it into a proper poleaxe. Or you could just embrace the halberd-esque thing and pimp it out with a spearhead and a butt spike, like I might do. And then you'll have to like stain the haft here. And yeah. But overall, not horrible. It's just not quite what I was expecting. It's a little bigger. I shouldn't say it's bigger. I knew the dimensions, but yeah. Pros, it's not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. They said 7 to like 7.5 pounds, and I was like, that's kind of hefty, especially at the end of a 6 foot long stick. But it is not. It's not close. It's about 4 pounds, maybe 4.5 pounds. I guess if you put the langets on, maybe, but I think then you're getting up to like 5.5 pounds. The weight is very good for what it is. Like, even with the langets, I would say this whole thing probably weighs 6 pounds with the langets and the screws. So, very manageable. The head itself is about 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds, like I said. But if you watch the Coldsteel videos, they'll tell you that the head is like 7 pounds. It's not that big, it's not that heavy. This is very, very manageable. I am surprised at just how nimble it is, considering what it is and how big it looks. So it's very maneuverable, which is nice. It probably won't be so maneuverable once I put the spearhead on, but I would have the butt spike as a counterweight at that point. So that probably balances out. But yeah, it's pretty good if you like this type of thing. I don't like it as much as I thought I would. It's a little big. I knew that, but you know, I don't know. I've never had a weapon this long, and right now I don't like it. It doesn't. It's just I like being super maneuverable, and which I mean this is. I just don't like it in the way that it is, but for the type of weapon it is, it's very maneuverable, I would say. But I just prefer Viking axes, Viking style axes. That's my thing. This is cool, but yeah, if my brother doesn't want to buy it, because he was talking about maybe getting one, I'm just going to commit, and I'll get the spearhead and the butt spike, and I will make it a proper halberd. I'm still not putting on the langets because I think they're dumb. But yeah, Coldsteel halberd. I'm calling it a halberd, okay? They can call it a poleaxe all they want. There's a halberd, in my opinion. It's like a mixture. But yeah, it's too long to be a poleaxe. It's just too long. It needs, you got to chop at least a foot off. But I would go 16 to 18 inches, probably a foot and a half, honestly, because the poleaxe would have a spike at the top, which adds some of that back. That's going to add probably 6 to 8 inches in length back, and then you have a butt spike. So you're taking off about 18 inches off the haft to put another 10 to 12 in just, you know, extra weaponry, so to speak. But yeah, it's fun. It's cool. I chopped some boxes. It cuts pretty well considering, you know, the kind of impact it hits with. I say boxes, but it was almond milk jugs and the box that it came in. So it does cut, and it's not very hard. It's not very difficult to line it up properly either. So that, like I said, it's pretty wieldy. I thought it would be a bit unwieldy. It is not. And my right arm is a little fatigued from the kettlebells. So me doing like this, it's feeling it a little bit, but I switch up and it's fine. And then yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just I don't like it as much as I thought I would. And I was torn, like I said, between this and the Markland Merchant's axe. So if I can sell it to my brother, I'm gonna get the Markland Merchant's great axe, because I just like that kind of stuff better. I prefer Viking stuff. That is my thing. The halberds are cool, but it's a little too regal for me, you know. They're used by knights, you know, and I'm more like somebody at work told me that I should have been born in the Viking era and just been on a battlefield with a big axe, and I couldn't agree more with him. Yeah, but it's a cool weapon. Once the bitchy ladies downstairs are evicted, I'll take it outside, but I'm not gonna do it. They don't like me because I reported them for noise. So yeah. But once they're gone, I will take it outside and we'll swing it around. Also, there's blue on it. I don't know why. I just noticed that. That's ugly. I really don't like this haft. The haft is ugly. I think Coldsteel should have stained all of it. Like, they should have all been stained before they got sent out. It's kind of shitty that they're not. But whatever, that's what I say. Coldsteel, you buy some of their stuff with the wood involved, and you almost have to think of it like a project, because like they are cheap. Like their great axe is only about $150. Compare that to the Markland Merchants I'm thinking of getting. It's like $350 to $400. You might have to put a little more work on the Coldsteel axe, but it's not bad. You know, if you're handy with this type of stuff. Coldsteel's good. And then their swords, I won't buy Coldsteel swords again, just because there's better options that are affordable, like Valor Arms, Windlass themselves, Honshu, some of Honshu stuff, Ronin Katana. They make overbuilt swords. Overbuilt. People act like if it's not like under 3 pounds that it's just so overbuilt and so heavy. And those people suck at anything, okay? But yeah, that's enough trashing Hema nerds. Coldsteel poleaxe, I'm calling it a halberd. And arbitrary number rating, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. based on what I got with this haft and how poorly the head actually fit into the haft. Because like I said, I could put it up top and then it would slide right down, no friction whatsoever. But yeah, so I give it a 6 out of 10 because it is round. You could pretty easily find a replacement haft for this, and the quality of the steel itself is very good. So that's the main piece. I can't knock them too hard. So 6.5 out of 10. And then if you want something that you can work on and make a project out of, I would give it actually a 10 out of 10 because it's under $200. I mean, you got to buy the other stuff, but you know, maybe you have that stuff sitting around. I don't have a spearhead sitting around, but I'm going to get one from Topeka, probably for like $50, and probably slap it on there. And then stain, I don't think is very expensive. I might even have some sitting around somewhere. All right, Coldsteel halberd. I'm not going to do a destruction test. Bye.